here tonight, for all our families. And I'm just going to introduce, thank you to GMHC as well. I'm just going to introduce Kelsey Louie, who's going to make opening remarks.
We can't deny the power of the media on our collective work to end the AIDS epidemic in New York State by 2020. It is imperative that we, as service providers, nurture our relationships with the media.
It's been 4 years now since we got the results of the first PrEP study. And I think for a lot of gay men, thinking about taking a medication on a steady basis to prevent HIV was a brand new concept that people had not really contemplated.
What we think of as traditional media coverage is really but just a strip of coverage and information. And I mean, I think traditional media coverage about PrEP has been pretty good. You know, they, like a lot of mainstream outlets, realized that there had been a gigantic game changer in the landscape of HIV. It's not really just about how well is the traditional media covering it, because I think a lot of the people that we want to reach don't even read traditional media necessarily unless it comes to them sideways over Facebook.
The story of PrEP really is almost a verbal history of PrEP that's passed from one gay man to another. The sort of Twitter sphere has been really effective in sort of getting people the word out by sort of creating this verbal history within the population. That, of course, does have a limit in that we're already not necessarily in all the social networks that we need to be in to be able to sort of reach people who need it the most.
There's a lot of young gay men of color on social media, on Twitter, on Tumblr. Like, that's just a really popular place. And as easy as it is to spread good information, it's just as easy to spread bad information, and it's just as easy for negative attitudes about anything to fester in those spaces. So there needs to be a concerted effort to target those spaces and put out good information. I think there's a different risk factor in what it means to come out as a sexual white gay man as opposed to coming out as a sexual gay man of color. I think it has to do with the disproportionate rates of HIV in those communities. I think it has to do with what brand of homophobia our communities have been taught.
The women that I have met, there's a lot of stigma attached to taking PrEP, and therefore they don't want to come forward. Around the stigma of being with a partner who is bisexual and or HIV positive and or bisexual, and the reality of that they're saying is that they can't begin to even think about people understanding that. On top of that, here are these women who are trying to own their bodies, take care of their sexual health, but also adding in the element of pleasure, that there's less stress around having sex.
To me, what the big story is a psychosexual one, and it's how is this going to affect the sexual lives of gay men today? Will people take greater sexual risk around PrEP? Okay, so we haven't seen that in IPREX or IPREX-OLA, but in reality, you talk to your friends, you hear what's going on Facebook, the people that I've interviewed, it is absolutely happening. You know, and instead of putting our heads in the sand about it, let's find out what's going on and let's really discuss this so that we can have PrEP be integrated into our psychosexual lives in a way that's best for everybody. Will PrEP get to enough of the right high-risk people so that enough will take it? And there's a concept called the number needed to treat in science. So can you get the right number needed to treat to have fewer cases of HIV each year?
One of the things that is just a cold hard fact right now is that PrEP is happening. There was at some point some give and take and some debate about its launch and some pushback from various sort of organizations and various people. But at the end of the day, there is extraordinary medical and political will to get this implemented in a larger way.
Thanks to the panelists.